Sports Direct could employ change in the organisation to help them deal with crisis in a better manner. Currently, we can observe that Sports Direct seems to take a relatively traditional approach to business and crisis overall. To improve the way Sports Direct deal with crisis, we can use Gilpin and Murphy's complexity model. The change for Sports Directs come in the areas of knowledge and awareness, adaptability, and complexity absorption. Firstly, in terms of knowledge, so crisis management often starts with acquiring knowledge about the situation that an organisation is in. At the moment with Sports Direct, the relationships and communications are very codified, meaning they're governed by certain rules, particularly in the Shirebrick warehouse, which creates an environment lacking innovation and adaptability. This needs to change to create a system where employees can communicate and share meaning face to face, to create an environment where ideas and decisions build on previous decisions, and it encourages innovation and openness to change within the organisation. So there's a few ways that Sports Directs can change this. Firstly, they should encourage employees from the warehouse and the head office to mix informally. This can be encouraged through firstly creating a communal dining area for everyone in the business to go and eat in, which would mean employees would socialise and share knowledge. Secondly, a house system could be put together, where employees from all through the business are given a house which they belong to. Within this house, social events such as charity events and parties will take place, which will again encourage the conversation and diffusion of knowledge from one employee to another. There should also be a crisis management team put together within the organisation. The role of this team is to act as an agent, encouraging the sharing of values and meaning. I think this team could act in an almost ethnographic way, where they spend time within the different departments watching and talking with employees as they do their work, sharing information and knowledge between different groups. Gilpin and Murphy further argue the idea of creating a learning space. In terms of Sports Direct, this can mean that managers encourage employees to talk about the firm's values and what they mean to each employee. Managers need to set the precedent for this, so possibly someone like Mike Ashley could publicly speak about this to show that it's okay. By integrating these techniques, knowledge flow in an organisation will be much stronger. It will allow a crisis management team and employees to have a lot better understanding of the environment they work in, the thoughts of their colleagues, and will help employees understand what common beliefs the organisations hold. This helps people understand crisis better and helps the organisation remain flexible when crisis hits. So adaptability is also key. And in crisis situations, the knowledge that employees are now sharing needs to be turned into action and decision making. Gilpin and Murphy argue this is where improvisation is key. But like any skill, it is argued that improvisation needs to be practiced. You can't just throw people into a crisis and expect them to improvise successfully. So in order to make this change to become more adaptable, Sports Directs could start a scheme where once a month or half a day, workers are put into random teams with real business problems to try and solve. Ideas could then be presented back to the judging panel with the most creative winning prizes, such as extra days paid holiday. There could also be a job switching day, where employees in similar level positions switch jobs with someone else for one day every 6 months in order to practice improvisation. Wyke in 1993 backs up the use of improvisation, claiming that when a crisis hits, organisational order tends to collapse. But being skilled in improvisation can mean a new order can be created immediately to help deal with this. Next, another important change to be made is with complexity absorption. So instead of resisting and trying to reduce uncertainty, like Sports Directs currently do, managers need to learn to embrace it and take it for what it is. In the long term, this will make them more comfortable dealing with a variety of situations and issues that arise in the business. An interesting way to improve this could be sending managers to train with people such as the police and firefighters, as these are people who are regularly involved in crisis situations where there are a variety of different options and choices they need to make, and are often quite good at accepting this complexity. So overall, if Sports Direct can make these changes and put these ideas into practice, then it can mean they react to a crisis in the future in a lot more successful way. Furthermore, by taking up a complexity-based approach to their organisation, it could lead to innovations in other areas of the business, as employees would generally have more autonomy and more skills to improvise. Although clearly there are some limitations to the complexity-based approach. So firstly, this approach would be relatively radical for Sports Direct, as it would be very different to what they've done before. And to counter this, I've suggested kind of smaller changes to be made initially. And as Sports Direct get used to this kind of system, they could then put in bigger changes which make this system more effective. There is also kind of no real case study for this approach. As with a lot of other crisis approaches, there seem to be steps which show you exactly what you need to do. This is very different, but this does make it harder to prove to shareholders that you're actually trying to make a change within the organisation and that you actually are prepared for crises.